So some of you may know that I stream on Twitch fairly regularly. Now recently there's been a lot of stuff coming forward that Twitch is like a shit platform and stuff. And while I don't necessarily wholeheartedly disagree, I also don't particularly agree either. Now, what's the problem with Twitch? So quite a lot of people are saying at the moment it's people, they're not really getting paid for how much work they're putting in. Now one thing I will say is this isn't true. People that actually have contracts with Twitch are getting paid fairly well. I think this is generally a bit of an overreaction, with the majority of people that are complaining, the people that are actually earning a lot of money from it. They're the people that are suffering, quote unquote, but they still have massive brand deals. They still have a lot of money. So I think on the whole, this whole argument that, we're getting, fucked over isn't true. Does that mean that there are other platforms that aren't better? Some people are saying Kick is better. I don't agree. It's got less spam, less people view Kick. Not only that, but it's also a fairly new website and may not be trustworthy. Not in terms of like status as a business, because obviously it's enshrouded. It was even featured during the NASCAR fairly recently, which, it's clearly a reputable business. However, we've seen reputable businesses in streaming services collapse completely. The famous example, obviously, is Mixer, which was, I believe, a Microsoft product. And, we all heard about that deal with Ninja. They got many other people over there, like Nepenthes. Facebook Live as well, another one that was huge, that doesn't really get talked about as much, but it's almost completely collapsed now, with just, Facebook mums being the only people who really use it. So there are a lot of streaming services that have kind of came around, tried to compete with Twitch, and kind of disappeared. Will Kick be one of them? I don't think so. I think it will probably keep around and keep being competitive. And healthy competition is the only way you really get stronger. Now, Kick does have some advantages. It clearly, claims to care more about the content creator, which is nice, But the extent of which isn't really clear, as it hasn't been around for long enough for people to really verify how good or bad Kick is. Now, Twitch has been around for about 15 years, give or take. Now, means it's one of the oldest websites that is frequently used on the internet. YouTube, Reddit, Twitch, Twitter are kind of the mainstays, personally, I'd say, of the internet, or certainly the ones that I use. Not Reddit. I don't use Reddit because I'm just not particularly interested in it, and that's a topic for its own video. However, Twitch has been getting a lot of backlash recently for, not caring about the streamers. And while this isn't necessarily untrue, I also think the rhetoric is being spun in a very strange angle. People are saying, Twitch is finished, Twitch is done. It's not. And the reason for that is it's because it's funded by a massive company like Amazon that has succeeded for a long time with it. All this needs is a slight bit of rebranding, and they'll be fine, right? I think this overblown reaction of Twitch is finished is, quite frankly, a bit ridiculous. And while, yes, Twitch isn't the best website for growth, for example, I've been streaming on Twitch for like 3 years, and absolutely no traction. Now, admittedly, that is because I'm a boring bastard that kind of limits himself by playing games that aren't really super popular. And also, I talk about things that are not necessarily alienating, but maybe not so interesting for the general audience. Now, why do I say this is a bad thing potentially? Well, quite a lot of people, when it comes to the internet, they want to get star status. That's their goal. A fair chunk of people don't do this anymore for fun. And there is a category of people that actually just want to do it because they want it as their job, and that is completely understandable. Because it is one of those jobs that I think most people, given the opportunity to, would take. Being a Twitch streamer, being an influencer, being a YouTuber, anything like that, most people realistically would take, right? However, I think the people are seeing now that Twitch isn't really one of those systems that you can just get ahead on purely by manipulation, right? Twitch now is quite deep-rooted with an algorithm that no one really understands. So unlike YouTube and Kick, which actually have fairly functional algorithms that are fairly straightforward to understand, Twitch is slightly more, you grow on Twitch through another platform, really. Like, a lot of people big on Twitter will start streaming on Twitch and blow up. A lot of people from, TikTok or, other areas of the internet will come onto Twitch and they'll be massive, right? Twitch itself is very difficult to grow on, famously so. I think that's what people are more so getting upset about, is the fact that it's so difficult to grow on Twitch, and then they want to kind of have that get-rich-quick scheme, which is what Kick is kind of promising to be right now. Is that the case? No, because just like every other live streaming service, only one person can watch one person at a time, in theory. I mean, I know people have like split monitors and whatever, but in theory, right? Which means you're constantly competing for people's time over people that will have better, higher production value, probably more interesting, probably better at the game than you. And all these factors, right, just rely solely basically on your personality, or if you're giving them something in return, whether that's good content, or you're gambling and they like entertaining, or you're interested in similar things to them, whatever it may be, right? Twitch competes directly with other people. Kick is the same. And that's why I kind of think YouTube's ahead of the game in terms of you don't compete for people's time as much, right? With YouTube, I can watch, a PewDiePie video and then a Jacksepticeye video back to back in the same amount of time that I would be watching just one stream from Alex Botes, say, right? So what basically happens is Twitch is, I think, collapsing because people are kind of realizing that live streaming as a service has its flaws. And I think ultimately the live stream won't die, certainly not after lockdown, with a lot more people being comfortable with it. But I think what is happening here is that you can see a decline in popularity of the general audience interest in live stream, with people that are interested in streaming just mainly being the people that are interested in streaming. There's a lot of people that don't watch YouTube that do watch streams. They're the kind of people that Twitch caters to. Twitch doesn't cater so much to the people that like YouTube. Kick does slightly more cater towards the people that like YouTube. So you watch people like iShowSpeed or Aiden Ross, neither of which I've particularly watched much, but their streams are very much formulaic like a YouTube video. Whereas you watch on Twitch, and the majority of people are just doing shit, really. They're reacting to videos, they're playing games, maybe doing a Q&A or a hot tub stream. That's that. Another reason why Twitch isn't necessarily dying, that I'm hearing a lot, is that, they're not letting people gamble. They're not letting people, do hot tub streams. The majority of people on Twitch don't watch that kind of content. That kind of content is catered to a very specific audience, of which is vocal but not particularly big. You look at Amrin, she's live like 24/7, right? And she does pull in like unbelievable numbers. That is purely because the amount of graft that she puts in and the production level, as well as, obviously catering to a very horny audience. So, is Twitch dead? No. Is this a massive overreaction? Yes. Will people leave Twitch because they don't like the system that's being ran? Yes. Will the platform die? Absolutely not. I think that's a bit of a preposterous argument, and it is what it is. Alright. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this just rant. It's all I'm really good at doing these days. I wouldn't even say I'm good at it, but that's the content I've been making recently. If you enjoyed it, like. If you didn't, dislike it. It's all the same to me. And if you've got any criticism, then leave it in the comment section. Alright, see you. What's that?